All right. Good morning, everybody. Today is day two of Math 133. Hopefully everyone had a really good holiday weekend. Today is Tuesday, September 2nd, and I'm going to share my screen and we'll talk about what we're going to do today. Um, all right. Over in Canvas, you can see that today we're going to cover the Chapter 2 project number 1. Um, that assignment is going to be due this Thursday, but uh, if you remember last time we met, we work on the projects and the worksheets together in class. So we're going to have this one done by the end of today, which is great. Uh, so your homework is to watch the lecture notes. So 2.3, 2.4. There's also this 2.3 Google Sheet project. That's going to give you a feel for how to do some of our other projects we have coming up. Next week, um, on Tuesday, we're going to be doing the Chapter 3 project, but we have a couple of other Chapter 2 projects that when you do those, it's going to make it a lot easier. Okay. So make sure you watch those and try to watch those before tomorrow because uh, Elaine's going to be using 2.3 and 2.4 information in tomorrow's worksheets. But if you have to watch them on Wednesday, uh, or hopefully you can watch them before her class on Wednesday. But if you have to watch them after, that's okay. Um, but anyway, uh, so does anyone have any questions before we jump in? No? Okay, that's fine. One second. Here- Okay. Um, so Maria is asking, StatCrunch still not working, still says you need an access code. So we are going to be using StatCrunch today. Um, If you haven't been able to get into StatCrunch, that's okay. Follow along as I'm going through this, and we should be done a little early today. When we get done, um, I can try to help you out after everybody else has left the class. Um, or Elaine might be able to help you get onto StatCrunch tomorrow. Um, you shouldn't need an access code. Um, I can you should be able to just go access Pearson and go from there. Um, that said, like I said, I will try to help you after we're done with the project, okay? Because I want to jump in before for everyone who already has it. So, like I said, just follow along as best you can, okay? All right. We're going to start out in Canvas. And you're going to go to day 2 and you're going to click on chapter 2, project number 1. Um, all of our worksheets are going to be found in the course pack, but our projects are mostly going to be uh, Google links to Google Sheets. Okay. Um, so Here it says open Google document at this link. It also says that there's video information. So you can actually watch this video and it'll hopefully walk you through everything you need to do for this project, okay? But we're going to do that together, so you don't need that video unless you're doing this on your own, okay? So I'm going to click on this link, and that's going to bring me to the Google Sheet, okay? Now, this is a Google Sheet for the project, and this is what we're going to be filling out. But you can't edit it right now. You'll notice up here in the upper right, it says request edit access. You don't own this document. This is a document that was created for everyone in the class. So if you were to edit it, then everyone would see your answers, okay? So you need to make a copy of this, okay? So you're going to go up here to File in the upper left and then make a copy. Okay. And this is going to be your own personal copy that you will be able to fill out. Okay. So upper left, click File, make a copy. And you can name it whatever you like. If you could, though, it would be really great if you put in your name. Okay. So like put in your name here at the end. Um, so Matt, 133 chapter 2 project Hopkins. Okay. Um, just so that it makes it a lot easier for me to grade. You don't have to do that. I can figure out whose it is. You can call it whatever you like. And you'll put it, you don't want to put it in this folder probably. You can, but this is the folder for like everything. I just click on this and you can just put it in any of your folders. Um, if you don't have a folder created, that's fine. You can just leave it there. So I have a folder already made for Map 133 Fall 2025. But you can leave it where it is. The main thing about putting it in a folder is you want it to be somewhere that you'll be able to find it if you need it. Um, I don't know that you'll ever need to go back and find it, but there are times where that you might want to. So Um, okay, so rename it with your name at the end. You can drop it in whatever folder you like. So yeah, so I've got some I got some birthday photos and whatever. So uh if you click all locations, you can just put it in My Drive and then just select that. That works fine. Okay. These were the ones that were just suggested to me because these are the ones I use. So but you can just put it in My Drive. That's fine. All right, so click make a copy, and it's going to open it in another tab, hopefully for you. And here it is, and now you can see that I can edit it. I can put in whatever here. Okay, so you get 1 point for your name. All right. Um, so we need to find a publicly available data set on StatCrunch. Your data set needs to have at least two qualitative variables and one quantitative variable, okay, that make nice graphs, okay? So, what does qualitative mean? Mm, Shout it out or put it in the chat. What do we mean by a qualitative variable? What does a qualitative variable look like?
According to you know what it is.
Turn off my video because it says my internet's not is bandwidth is low. Um, Say that again.
Was cutting out. It was cutting out. So I
Yeah. All right. So thank you, Jenica. Uh, yeah, a category that describes something. Okay. Are you guys hearing me okay? Is my internet working well enough you guys can hear me?
I it, for me, I can hear you. It was cut before though, but you sound fine right now.
Okay. Let me know if I cut out at all. Um, we got we got new internet this this weekend, and I was like, well, this is bad timing to test new internet right in the a class I'm teaching. So you're correct. It is a category that describes something. So a qualitative variable, since it's a category, um, the the data is going to look like words usually. Okay, it can be numbers. Okay, but usually, yeah. So, what about quantitative? What does quantitative mean? Quantitative variable. What would the data in a quantitative variable look like? I had a data set of quantitative with a quantitative column means it'd be the number of something. Yep. So Nyla is correct. It would be something you can measure. Yep. Something you can do math with. Okay. So something you can either add or you can compare. So this thing is bigger or faster or slower. So, okay. So we need to go find a data set, and we're going to paste the URL for that here. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on this link to StatCrunch. Okay. Or you can just type in your address bar, statcrunch.com. Okay. When you go to statcrunch.com, it's going to look like this. Okay. Whether you've signed up or not, it's going to look like this. Uh, but we need to get to the data sets, okay? Before we can do that, though, we're going to need to sign in. So in the upper right here, it says sign in or register, okay? So on statcrunch.com, we're going to click sign in or register, and you're going to put in your JCC email, because that's what your username was, and your password. I know some people signed up with their personal email. So however it was that you connected to Pearson last time, so make sure you have that password where somewhere where you'll be able to get it and use it. Okay. Um, so once you've signed in, I can see in the upper right, I'm signed in as Hopkins Joseph R. There's my email address. Okay. And so now, if I wanted to, I could click on StatCrunch, but I don't want to do that yet. I want to go find a data set. So over here on the left, I'm going to click on data sets. So over here on the left, right here, second one down, I'm going to click on data sets. Okay. So again, stop me if my connection cuts out. I don't want you guys to miss any of the steps. So, or if you can't hear me, okay, just uh, send a message and remind, or shoot me a message in the chat. Um, I want to make sure that everybody's following along and nobody gets left behind. Okay. Um, Okay, so we're going to choose a data set from here. Now, remember, we need two uh, qualitative variables and one quantitative. Okay, so a lot of these are going to work, but you need to make sure we want to make sure that the graphs that we're going to be creating look good, and so they need to be big enough. So we need to pay attention to this size right here. If the size is too small, then your graphs aren't going to look very good. So this one right here might not be good. It's only 16,000 kilobytes. Um, this one, Professor Salaries, is really small, so that's probably not going to work. But most of these will. Okay, so I'm going to click on, let me see Professor Salaries in here. This one's probably not going to be good because, like I said, it's probably too small. Um, so I know that most of the sports ones will work. So World Cup men's players. I know superheroes is a good one. Um, car models will work. So here's the car model one. And there's way more than this, okay? Um, there are 5,000 pages of data sets in here. It's a lot. So here's my professor salaries one. So I do have two qualitative columns. I've got the field and the job title. Um, and then here's a quantitative variable. So this one might work. It's just it might not be big enough because if I scroll down, yeah, there's only 87 rows here. So my this isn't going to work for uh for my graphs, okay? My graphs are going to be just tiny. So yeah, apparently only 87 professors put their numbers in here. So that one's not going to work. But the Thanksgiving one will work. Um World Cup matches. So yeah, I know superheroes works. So you can also search for some. So I really enjoy games, so I'm gonna search for games, see what I can find. Um, Responses to video game survey. All right, so that one's huge. So I'm gonna use this one, which means you can't use this one. Okay. Um, so I want everybody is gonna need to go and pick their own. Okay. So, I mean, you can pick one that someone else is using as well. That's fine. But I don't want your graphs to look the same as mine, okay? So part of the fun of the projects is you get to do your own thing and you get to actually see how things would work using your data, okay? Um, so the worksheets will all have the same answers, but for the projects, your answers are going to be different from mine, okay? So anyway, as you're going through and picking out your data set, maybe if I look at like the soccer players here, um, we need we need a column that has numbers, and then we need two columns that have words. Okay. Now, when you're choosing a uh, quantitative variable, okay, um, quantitative is always going to be numbers, okay? But just because you have numbers doesn't mean it is quantitative. So for example, this jersey number right here for these soccer players, it's numbers, right? But this is not a quantitative variable because you can't do math on it, okay? Um, if I have this player and their jersey number is 3, and I have this player and their jersey number is 22, that 22 doesn't mean that that person is better. It doesn't mean that that person is faster or taller or anything, right? Jersey number is not something that you can do a comparison like this one's, this number is bigger than this one and then that means something. I can't add them together, right? I can't say, okay, if I take this 3 player and I add it to the 18 player, that's a total of 21. Well, what does that mean? That doesn't mean anything, right? You can't add them or subtract them or even compare them. So jersey number would be a qualitative, qualitative variable. Okay, even though it's numbers. Okay, so there might be others for like zip code. Zip code is also qualitative. Okay, if I'm in this zip code 49227 and you're in a different zip code, that doesn't mean you know, it doesn't mean anything. Okay, same with area code. Okay, um, birth year is is a quantitative variable, okay? Because birth year, you can say that this person is older, this person is younger. You can make that comparison, okay? So height is quantitative, weight is quantitative. So you could use this, you could use the soccer player one. You just can't use jersey number for your qualitative one. Now, another thing to pay attention to is just because you have words doesn't mean that it's a qualitative variable. This column here, name, that's the name of the player. That is not a qualitative variable. That's a label. Okay. The difference is that if every single thing in here, if every single item in here is different, everyone has a different name, then uh, it's not going to be qualitative. Okay. You need some overlap. So like this one is good to position. So you have some defenders. and you have a bunch of midfielders, you have a couple of forwards, and so there's some overlap, right? Where you've got this guy's a goalkeeper and this guy's a goalkeeper. Okay. So you need, if you want a qualitative variable, you need a column that is not all the same and it's also not all different. Okay. Um, okay, so most of the sports ones will work though. Um, so pick out your data set, whichever one looks awesome to you that's got a decent size. And then what we're going to do is we're going to copy the URL. So up here in the address bar, we're going to right click on that and we're going to copy it. Okay. Or you can hit Control C, hold the control button and hit C at the same time. And we're going to copy that into our project. Okay. So this is mine, labeled Hopkins. And right here, I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit paste, or you can hit Control V. Okay. And there it is. That is going to let me see which, data set you used. Okay, so you can't use the same one as me, but I showed you some of the ones that would work. Okay. Uh, any questions? What variables did people pick, or what data sets did people pick? What did you guys select? I'm curious now. Superheroes, yep. I like the superheroes one. So in order to edit it, you'll notice that this copy I cannot edit. Okay. You have to go to File and make a copy. Okay. And you'll be able to edit your copy. Okay. So you can call it whatever you want. You can save it wherever you want. So once you've got a copy made, you'll be able to edit that one. So I got two people pick superheroes. Yeah, that's good. What else did you guys pick? I'm curious. Anybody do the Thanksgiving one? That one works. I know the wedding one doesn't work because it's too small, so that's too bad. But anybody else want to tell me what they picked? Animal bites. Oh, I didn't see that one. All right, cool. Still fighting one. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Um, Okay, so now we're over here in our data set. And the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to choose a qualitative variable to make a bar chart. Okay. And we're just going to list which variable it was. Okay. So I need a qualitative variable. Now remember, a qualitative variable is going to have words. It can be numbers depending on the situation, but most of the time it's going to be words. And we need something that's not all the same and not all different. So I'm going to use gender, because it's males and females, right? So there's some overlap there. Some of them are different and some of them are the same. Okay, so that's fine. It doesn't have to have a ton of different categories. So gender is only going to have just the two, male and female, and that's still totally fine. Okay. Now you can have lots of different categories. Like I could have device, and there's all kinds of different things you can play video games on. Or favorite game type. That's going to have a whole bunch of different categories. If you get more than like 20 different categories, though, your bar chart's going to be a bit busy. It's going to be a bit crazy. So just be aware of that. Okay. But I'm going to use gender because it's probably pretty easy, and I'll just put that in here. Okay. So which qualitative variable did you choose? I chose gender. Okay. Great. So now that I've got that, um, I need to go to step four with question number four, create a frequency bar chart of this qualitative variable. So we're going to select graph, bar plot with data, and we're going to paste the picture below. Okay. So we just need a picture of the bar chart. All right. So we come over here, right? And we do graph. And you don't have to click graph. You just hover over it and you'll get this drop down. Okay. And then we'll do bar chart, bar plot right here with data. Okay. Graph, bar plot with data. Okay. And with data, that's the one you're going to click on. Okay. So hover over graph, hover over bar plot, and then click on with data. Okay. And it's going to bring this up and it's going to ask you, okay, here's all the columns you've got, age, gender, device, so on and so forth. Okay. Which one do you want to make a bar plot with? So I chose gender, so click on the one that you chose. Okay. And there's lots of different options here on what you can do with these. But the only one that we're going to do right now is we're going to do value above the bar. And you don't necessarily have to click on that one. Um, but you know, it's going to make it look a little bit nicer. Okay. So so I'm a data analyst, and part of the time that I am working with, charts and graphs and stuff is just making it look nice. Okay. A chart that looks nice is going to be easier to read. And so yeah, you don't want it to look terrible. So all right, so I'm going to click on that one and then I'm going to hit compute. And there it is. It's going to do it for me. Okay. Now, it turns out that I do have three bars, male, female, and other. Okay. But if you only had two, that's fine. If you have one bar, that's not okay, right? Because if you have a single bar, then that means it's not a qualitative variable because everything is the same. Everything's the same category. We need a column where it's not all the same and it's also not all different. Now, if you might have a very messy bar chart if you have too many categories. If you have more than 20 or so, it's going to start to look crazy. Okay. I'm fine with a crazy bar chart, but like I said, part of my job is making sure that the data that I'm uh, analyzing for the company, for the CEO or whoever I'm showing this to is easy to read, and it's not going to be easy to read if it's a giant uh, you know giant data set like a giant bar chart. Okay, so you might want to choose a different column if you have more than like 20 bars because the bars get super skinny and you can't see all the numbers at the top, right? Like if I had come over here to superheroes and uh, I had used name. We said don't use name. You can't use name because it's a label, right? If I had done it on name, it's going to look terrible. Okay. It's going to look like this. You can't see any of the labels above it, and you can't see all the labels below. Like this is not helpful. Okay. Um, okay, so anyway, but this one looks good. So I'm good with this. Now we need to copy this into our project. Now there's three ways you can do that. Okay. So the way that I like best is to grab a snipping tool. Okay. So every computer is going to have a snipping tool. If you just search for snipping tool, there it is. Okay. You might have a different one like Snagit or something like that. But if you click on the snipping tool, and you'll see that actually I've got my snipping tool pinned to my taskbar here, because I use it all the time. I love the snipping tool. It's great. Um, so for those of you on a Windows machine, you should be able to just type in snipping tool and you'll be able to find it. Okay. For those of you on a Mac, I don't know what their snipping tool is, but every computer has one. Now, if you don't want to use a snipping tool, there's a different way you can do it. I'm going to show you this way first. So I would click on new, and it's going to turn my mouse into a plus, and I click the upper left corner, click and hold it down, hold my mouse button down and drag it down to the lower right corner. Okay, click and drag and then let go. And when you let go, it's going to grab that area that you had selected. Okay. And the nice thing about this snipping tool is it'll actually put it on your clipboard. It'll copy it for you. But if you need to, you can right click and copy, or you can hit Control C. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste or hit Control V, and I will paste my bar chart here for number 4. Okay. There it is. Looks beautiful. Now, if you didn't want to do that, like I said, you didn't have to do it that way. So what you could have done was back over here in uh, my StatCrunch, I could have clicked options, copy, but that doesn't copy it. What that does is it pops it out into its own image here, where now you can right click and copy image. Okay. Um, so I find that one a little annoying because it should just copy it, but whatever, that's fine. So you right click, copy image, and now same thing, you come over here, you paste it, Control V, paste your bar chart. The last way is you can download it. Okay, and you might need to do that if you're on like your phone on StatCrunch. You go to options, download, and I just give it a name. So, you know, this graph. All right. And it's going to copy it as a PNG. So it's going to put it in your download folder or wherever you tell it to put it. So here's my download folder, and you can see all the stuff I've downloaded. So, but if you open that guy up, it'll open it in a picture um program, and then you can right click and copy it from there. Okay. So however you want to do it's fine. Okay. So you can download it, you can do options copy and then copy it again, or you can just do the snipping tool. That's my favorite. Um, all right, so I'll close my snipping tool. So once you've pasted it in here, that's it. That's it for number four. Okay. So, if I was a data analyst, I would spend a little more time making this graph look a little bit nicer. I'd probably put a title in here. I'd make sure that my numbers here, 9,384, actually has a comma. So it's 9 comma 384. We don't need to make this graph look nice. I just want a graph. Okay. We want to show that we can make a graph. Okay. So as a data analyst, yeah, we have to make sure that the data is readable, it's understandable, but because otherwise, if I just saw this image, I wouldn't know that this was about video games. It's just male and female. Actually, there's more female on this one than male, so that's interesting. So I wouldn't even think it's video games. I would have thought um, if you did a poll of video game players, more would be male. So, yeah. Um, so I would definitely need a title on this one. Okay, but moving on, this one's good to go. So next, number five, create a relative frequency bar chart of the same qualitative variable and paste it below. So we're going to do gender. I'm going to do gender again, or whatever um, column you chose. But this time we're going to do a relative frequency. Okay. So a frequency is just a count of how many people. Relative frequency is going to give me a percent of people. Okay. So I'm going to go back over to my StatCrunch. Okay. I don't need this one anymore, so I'm going to close it with the X. But it's not closed forever. If you ever close something like, oh shoot, I needed that. Right here, if you hover over this StatCrunch dropdown, you can see the one right here. There's one hidden thing in the hidden results. Here's the bar chart that I made, and I can bring it back if I ever needed it. Okay. Okay, but I don't need it right now. So, uh, yeah, we're gonna do the same thing, okay? Um, by going to graph, bar plot with data. Okay, so exact same thing, but we're gonna select one, we're gonna make one small change. Okay, so graph bar plot with data, and we're going to change it from a frequency. So under type, so I'm still choosing gender, say choose the same column, okay? Uh, Under type, I'm going to change it to relative frequency. Okay. All right. And I still want the value above the bar, and I'll hit compute, and we'll see what that gives us. Okay. So there we go. Um, so it gives me the same chart. This looks the same. Okay. What did I do wrong? Why does this one look the same as the one I did before? Is this, what did I do wrong? That's a question for you guys. Did I do something wrong? When you do a relative frequency, so uh I got at the top it's not 9,000 anymore. Now it's a percent or a ratio, a proportion. So 53% of my gamers were female. But why are the bars the same height? Is it supposed to look the same? Yep. So Nyla says because it changed to a decimal. So it is supposed to look the same. So I didn't do anything wrong. I asked that question just to make you guys think. So the bars should look the same. All I did was I took the number from before. So this guy where it was 9,000 and then this one's 7,000 and basically took everything and divided by the total. That's what the relative frequency is doing, is it's taking your frequencies and dividing by the total. Okay. So since everything's getting divided by the same total, it's not going to change the relative heights of them. Okay. So on the left, you can see that, oh, the y-axis changed and my decimals changed, but the bars are going to look exactly the same. Okay. So don't freak out when you see that. Okay. They should look the same. Now, if you didn't want to do it that way, so you could have also edited your previous version by going options, edit, and then that would let you change your frequency to relative frequency. Okay. So you could have done it that way. Okay, so yeah, it's gonna look the same. It's just different percents, different y-axis. Okay. But I'm gonna copy this one as well. So I'm gonna do my snipping tool again. Oh, I grabbed the options button. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, it doesn't these charts don't need to look perfect, so it's okay if I accidentally grabbed a little bit of stuff I didn't want. Um, and I will copy that over here to number 5. There's my relative frequency bar chart. Okay. So again, you could have done options, copy, and then copied that, or you could have downloaded it under options download. That's fine too. Okay. All right. Moving right along. Okay. No, that's not what I wanted to click. I wanted to go back to my project. All right. Perfect. So next is question number 6. Choose a second qualitative variable to make a pie chart with. Oh, pie chart. Ooh. Oh. No, I mean it's fine. So as a data analyst, we try very hard to avoid pie charts. Pie charts. So the reason why is because humans are very good at seeing the size of rectangles and estimating their areas, being able to tell, okay, this bar is smaller than this bar, and so on. Okay. But with a pie chart, it's much more difficult. Humans are not good at seeing circles and being able to tell which one's bigger, which one's smaller, or parts of circles. So, there's a chart called a donut chart that's a little bit better because it takes all the pie wedges and turns them into arcs, but even that's not great. So, but anyway, I'm not here. I'm not here to complain about pie charts. Uh, Humans are uh, so you're not good at being able to tell like circles and stuff, but we like circles. We like rounded edges. Sharp corners. It doesn't look visually appealing to us. So there are things to be said for pie charts. But anyway, regardless, I'm going off on a tangent. Choose a second qualitative variable. Make a pie chart with it. Okay, so going back over to our data set, we need a second one. So I'm gonna do favorite game type because that seems cool. Maybe I can use one of these other ones if I need device or whatever. But again, you need one that's not all the same and it's not all different. Okay. So I could have done favorite game type as my bar chart and then done male female as my pie chart. That would have been fine. Um, but I'm gonna go back to graph. But this time instead of bar plot, I'm gonna do pie chart. Okay. With data. Graph, pie chart with data. Okay. And this time I'm not going to choose gender. I'm going to choose a different column. So I'm going to scroll down and favorite game type. Okay. Again, there's lots of different options. That's okay. We don't need any of those. We'll just hit compute. And here it is. Okay. So, um, yeah, lots of different colors. That's fine. And I will copy this. A new. There we go. Okay. And oh, I messed something up. Number six is not where you put your pie chart. You put that in number seven. Number six, we have to write out what the name of it is. So I chose favorite game type. Okay. Um, all right. So which column, what's the name of the column you decided to use? What's the variable name? Put that here. Okay. And then for number seven, you're gonna paste your pie chart here. Okay. Now, I mentioned earlier that humans we're pretty good at telling the size of rectangles. We're not very good at looking at circles and estimating those sizes. So, for example, if I'm looking at adventure and other, which of those is bigger? It's a little hard to see. Okay. I can use these numbers over here and say, oh, well, the adventure's 15, others 11. They look very close. Okay. Uh, if I compare first person shooter and role playing, those are pretty close. I think the role playing's bigger, just eyeballing it. Um, Action versus sports, I think it's action, but it's it's a little difficult to tell. If, on the other hand, I had made this a bar plot, okay, and this you don't need to do. This part I'm just, you know, going off on my little tangent. If I had done it this way as a bar chart and I asked myself, oh, which one's bigger, adventure or other, it's very clear. This one is the adventure one. This one is the other one. I can clearly tell that the adventure is bigger. But look how close they are on the pie chart. Okay. This red wedge and this orange wedge, yeah, the red one is bigger, but look how close they are. It's not easy to tell. Okay. Action versus sports, again, I can tell that the action one is a slight bit bigger, but if I compared action and sports over here, here's action, here's sports. They're on the opposite sides of the bar chart, but I can still clearly tell that action is bigger. Humans are very good at telling the size of rectangles. They're not so good with arcs. So that's all I was getting at earlier. So again, um, you don't need to pay attention to all that. Just just know that it might be better if you have the option of doing a pie chart or a bar chart. Bar chart is almost always the way to go. Um, by the way, if you have ever clicked on some things and things start to turn pink, so that means that you clicked on something, you can just clear that. Okay. So, oh, but I don't remember what you have to click on to clear it. Mm-mm-mm. Lane, do you remember what you click on to clear if you've selected stuff?
Um, I every time I have to go through and look at that because it drives me crazy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it
So
under edit?
no,
Undo?
there's
Undo? No.
the word I'm looking for is clear. I know that. Yeah, that's fine. If
Sorry.
you send me something that's pink, I'm not worried about it. So um
At the
at the
bottom.
bottom. Oh, there it
There it
is.
is.
Clear.
Yay.
There we go.
Thank you.
I knew the word I was looking for. So okay. Anyway, I'll get off of my tangent about pie charts. Uh, now I want some pie or some donuts. Anyway, okay, so there's that. And we're done with number 7. So, by the way, again, if you have chosen a uh, qualitative variable that has a lot of things, your pie chart's going to look crazy, right? If you get more than like 20 categories, like how many do I have? Looks like I've got 8 categories. Eight's not too bad. If you have 2 categories, two's easy, two's great. Pie charts are great if you have 2 categories or three, maybe. Um, but if you have like 20 or more categories, that's probably going to be too busy and too hard to read. So you would probably want to switch to a different qualitative variable. So, all right, but next, number 8. Choose a quantitative variable. So we need something that we can do math on. We need some numbers, okay? So coming back over here, I've got age and spent per year. However, spent per year, it looks like is not a continuous variable. So like I see 50, I see 100, I see 300, but I don't see like $67.87, okay? So I might not use that one. I think I'm going to use age. Okay. And age is fine because you can do math on that. Okay. If I'm 20 and you are 18, then I am older than you because I can make that comparison. Okay. So you need to be able to compare the numbers in there. So if I'm looking at this number is higher than this one, then that actually means I'm older or I'm faster, I'm taller, I'm heavier, I'm you know, you need to be able to make a real comparison. Okay, you can't compare zip codes or uniform sizes like we said earlier, or sorry, uniform numbers. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to use age. So jumping back over here to my question number 8, put in the name. And number 9, we're going to create a frequency histogram. Okay. Frequency histogram of this quantitative variable by doing select graph histogram. Okay. So we're going to select graph, and we're not going to do a bar plot or a pie chart. We're going to do a histogram. And it's not going to ask you if it's with data or not because it's got to be with data. So uh, it's going to list out a couple of columns, but not everything. So StatCrunch knows that histograms have to be numbers. So it's only going to give you the columns that are numbers. So I only have a couple here. It's not going to give me gender as an option. Okay. So I'm going to click age, and then I'm going to hit compute. All right. And there's my histogram. Okay. Again, so this one, if you wanted to, you could make it different based on these different options here. Like you could have more bars or less bars. Okay. But this one looks great. So I'm gonna go to my snipping tool and do new and click and drag. Here's my histogram. And I'm gonna put that in question number 9. Okay. Create a histogram, paste it below. Okay. Now, each of these bars represents a range of values, a range of ages. Okay. So this right here is not 20 years old. It's how many people are between 20 and 25. Okay. So if you're 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, it's not including 25, it goes up to 24.9. Okay. How many people are in that age group? 4,000 people. Okay. So that's the way that histogram is going to do it. It's going to do it the same way that you would see like a frequency chart. Okay. Which we'll talk about in next time. Okay. All right. Uh, so this one's breaking up by 5 years. If I wanted it broken up by 10 years, it would basically take these two bars and combine them. Okay. If you have too many bars or too few in a histogram, things can look weird. Okay. So paying attention to how many bars you want and how many, like what their widths are going to be. is important when you're building one of these. Okay. I said earlier that we want to make sure we have enough data. So I've got like thousands of rows here. If we had used that the professor salaries, I only had 80 rows. My histogram would look really weird. Okay, so I don't want to do that here. You need a large data set. So, all right, number 10, create a relative frequency histogram of the same quantitative variable in paste below. Okay, so we remember before that everything's going to look the same. It's just that we're not going to be doing counts. We're going to be doing percents this time. So, graph, histogram, change your type of from frequency to relative frequency, and hit compute. Oh, I didn't select a column. I got to select the same column. I got to select age again. Okay. Compute. And it looks exactly the same. The only thing that's changed is here on the left, my y-axis is no longer going up to thousands, right? If I hover over the 20 to 25, I don't have 4,000 people. I have 27%. 27% of the people in the survey are in that age range. Okay. All right, that sounds good. So I'm going to use my snipping tool again, or I can do options, copy, and then right click and copy that image, right? And then I can paste that in number 10. Okay, great. All right, so one more question and we're done. So question number 11. And do you think your quantitative data appears to be skewed left, skewed right, or symmetric? Okay. So, looking at this one, so if I thought of this as like a mountain, so I'm at the top of the mountain and I'm going to uh ski one way or the other. Do I want to ski to the left or do I want to ski to the right? Right, so I've got my little mountain here. So here I am at the top. I'm gonna ski one way or the other. Okay. Well, I don't want to fall off the cliff, so I'm going to ski to the right. Okay. So that's the way I like to think of it. So this one is skewed right. Okay. Now, on the other hand, you ha if both sides are kind of the same, they don't have to be perfectly the same, but if both sides are kind of the same, then it would be symmetric. Okay. So mine in this case is skewed right. Okay. Now, skewed right means something. Okay. Right. It means that the mean is greater than is on the right side of the median. It also means that your tail goes off to the right, or you might have some outliers out to the right. Um, but really, right now, we're just talking about the shape. So that's the way I like to think of it. Is which way would I want to ski? Okay. Did anybody get skewed left, or did anybody get one that's symmetric where both sides are pretty similar? Not perfectly the same, but similar enough. Did everybody get skewed right? What'd you guys get? What's your graph look like?
Skewed right.
Skewed right. Okay, that's fine. Skewed right. Yeah, all good. Yeah, skewed right is fairly common. So, um, all right. So explain why you think so. Tail goes off to the right. Okay. So the tail of my data goes off to the right, or you might have an outlier, a high outlier would make it skewed right. All right. So that is the end of the project. And now you need to submit the project. So coming back over here to Canvas, if we scroll down to the bottom, you can upload a PDF, but it's much easier to grab the URL and just paste it here. Okay, so to do that, we are going to go back to our project and we're going to go up here to the upper right and we're going to click on share. Okay, so in your project, in Google Sheets, you're going to click on share. You're going to need to change the general access to anyone with the link. If you keep it as restricted, then I won't be able to see it. Okay. So it will only share it with the people that you allow it to be shared with. So we're going to change it to anyone with the link. And then here it says copy link. So we'll copy the link and that's going to copy the URL into your clipboard. So you change it to anyone with a link and copy link. And then you're going to come back over here to Canvas, click on web URL, and you're going to paste that link. Okay, so right click, paste. It's some long, nasty thing, but that's totally fine. And then we're going to hit submit assignment. It's going to spin and then it's going to give you confetti. Yeah, we did it. Okay, and that's it. We're done. Okay. So that's how we'll do most of our projects. You'll just share, change the access to anyone with the link, copy the link, put it in Canvas. Okay. For the worksheets, the ones that are in the course pack, those are on paper. You'll have to scan it into a PDF. Okay. But for the project, we don't have to do that. So that's it. We're done. Okay. Um, so jumping back over here. Um, Make sure that you do your lecture notes, okay? Watch those. And I will see you on Thursday, okay? For those of you listening to the recording, today we went through everything. We did the project together, okay? That's not always going to be the case, okay? There are going to be some times where I might give you some like hints, and then you'll have to do the project on your own. So coming to class is still definitely the best way to go. That's how we're going to do Thursday's class when we do the chapter 2 review. So you won't get all the answers today. You got to see exactly how to do it. So you can just watch the video. Okay. I'll be posting the video later today, probably this evening. But I'm gonna stop the recording. Anyone who is still stuck on getting StatCrunch access, hang on a bit and stay on, and we'll work through those issues. For those of you who were able to follow along and submit the assignment, I hope you have a good day, and we'll see. Elaine will see you tomorrow, and I will see you on Thursday.
Bye.
Yep.
Hello.